What's up YouTube, God4Man220 and welcome back to our Coney Heroes 2 online replay. You can see we all have our face plates here. It says least we forget. This is kind of honoring the soldiers, or it's kind of their kind of symbolic gesture to honor the soldiers who lost their lives in World War II and other wars. It was for Veterans Day on Tuesday, November 11th. Anyway, you can see I am the United States. I gotta get used to this map again. Yeah, tell me if you guys like the replay system, the new one. I kind of like the old one. Maybe they could change it again. I did know they did a small update this week, and they were going to try to make it so replays don't disappear after, you know, a minor update. So good for them. It's only been a little like year and a half here. Anyways, you can see I've chosen the Rifleman Commander, and what my goal with this is we saw in that last video where the Soviets and I was going to kind of push back that those Easy 8s came in real handy. So I'm going to try to get some of my own Easy 8s. Looks like they bumped up their fuel. They were originally like 130 fuel. Now they're at 145, and they are 400 manpower. That's a significant investment compared to a basic Sherman, which you guys can see is about, I believe it's 300? 340. So 60 more manpower and 35 more fuel, but it's a much better Sherman. And I was telling my allies, I keep thinking I'm blue. I was telling my allies, you know, let's double the fuel in the beginning. That's what you need to do on the steps. You need to have 2 players target this fuel and 2 players target this fuel in the south. You need to have that approach, because if someone goes north like purple, then you know it's 2-on-1. And you want to control that fuel early in the game. It'll get you your scout cars out. It'll give you options to make grenades, bazookas for the Americans. It'll give you fuel for the Soviet Molotovs. It'll make it so you can build tanks quicker, and that's the most important thing. And if you look at some of these guys' ranks, I can still pull this up. You can see T up is Prestige 3. So these guys are not low levels. And this is, well, Colonel Gaddafi is 58 and Hammer the God 63. And we're like, you know, we're all prestigers here. They don't even give you the option of prestige, it's kind of funny. So I have these guys. I'm pretty sure Machine Gun was going to come along here, so I'm going to help try to flank. At this point, I see there's a fight here. This guy's actually using an interesting strategy. I'm going to try this myself. He's using the 50 cal truck to get around these guys. These guys, keep in mind, they don't have the Panzerschrecks yet, so they can't counter this effectively. And he has the Rifleman in there to kind of shoot at the units, so nice kind of quick rush. It can't be countered by a Kupowagen. He's got to be careful. I'm bringing my Rifleman in support. I would love to wipe out this unit, but keep in mind, purple is the Vet 3 guy, or the Prestige 3 guy. He's forced to fall back. Yeah, he did manage to get his Rifleman out of there. Some of them did die, so it's a little sad. And let's see how much fuel that costs, because I'm not very familiar with that. 20 fuel, so it's a little bit of an investment to begin with. Now I'm getting suppressed like this. You can see with the fog war, I know he's not going to be able to see me this whole time. I can barely see him. I know my Rifleman coming to capture. I figure we're not getting pressure in the middle. Might as well advance. You can see orange is kind of shifting down more towards the middle. The penal troops are coming, comrades. It's not about crawling in Jagarden. I don't know what that was about, but I guess my guys are kind of crawling. I'm going to push him back. I'm going to flank the Kupowagen. These guys will become unpinned. I didn't want to, you know, usually I say if you guys are pinned, retreat, but I knew I was able to push back this kind of mobile machine gun. You can see there's a big fight going on here. A bunch of Grenadier spam. Okay, I shouldn't say it's spam. There's 2 Grenadier units supported by machine guns. So that's definitely not a spam. I gotta be careful when I call spams and stuff. Because technically right now I have 2 Riflemen next to there. Is that a spam? No. However, I gotta be a little careful. I don't want to blob here, but I'm doing a rear attack, so it's kind of important to concentrate my forces here. There's 2 guys. I'd say 3 would be a blob. I'm focusing fire right on this machine gun. I want to take it. I don't want to be able to retreat. They're focusing fire on this squad. I almost lost him here. I gotta pull back. Machine gun's dead. The Soviet is advancing with me. The Pino troops are moving in. These guys are pushed back in the woods. I thought they'd have some kind of bunker and see they're pushing back. Sir, he should just retreat at this point. He is outnumbered. I might bet 2 Riflemen coming in here also. So you can bet once we push these guys back, I'm going to seize this machine gun. It's very important for me to, you know, deny to the enemy. So I just took that machine gun there. These guys are Vet 2. Vet 2 Riflemen do have an increased survivability, and they can control their weapons while under fire, apparently. Yeah, so he's in negative cover, so I should have just stayed and taken this kind of fight. Instead of kind of stop and pull back, I kind of figured that now. Now they're in light cover. I gotta pull back to this heavy cover position here. With that new cover system, you can see your men automatically kind of go right to the green. They used to not do that. You just kind of have to like turn them and force them, and they'd often not always be in the green. Like, you can't really deploy your men. It's like zoom to deploy your men here. So I do like that new cover system. Anyway, you can see that the peanut are just moving in. It's a real support. There's 3 of us in the south right now, and we've taken that field. And then the guy in the center, Cyan, his name is Torgeson. He's made a bunch of machine gun nests, and I'm even making one. I'm getting the spear. Let's fortify the hell out of this position here. I even have my lieutenant to stop any kind of units. I'm gonna warn you though, the Vet 3 player and the Prestige 3 guy, this guy's gonna quit. He's gonna be frustrated with his allies, when in fact he's just being double teamed. I even have a machine gun here. I'm like, you want to go, Kupelwagen? He doesn't. He's gonna have to fall back. You can see this is kind of interesting, like having the light vehicles, you know, keep your riflemen mobile. You can easily push back these guys. Now, what would counter this easily, I'm sure, would be a stand. Well, machine gun obviously is gonna do a lot of damage. You can flank around it. I think what would counter this pretty effectively would be a scout car with a autocannon. I think that would just devastate these guys. They're not making that. Also, you gotta be careful about a Panzerfaust, because your men, keep in mind, they can't repair it, right? The crew can hop out and repair, but you don't want to leave your guys stranded. Anyway, same kind of thing with my allies, just to be able to push these guys back. They're very mobile, while, you know, Cyan and me are basically fortifying the middle area. And this rifleman thing's great. So this is the rifleman I have. I have a ton. I actually brought these guys back to base. Now you say, why are you guys standing around? I'm actually getting ready for the bar unlock, so I can research that and equip these guys. Plus, I don't really need these men at the front just yet. I'm more focused on kind of fortifying my position along here. And I also have another machine gun. Now, machine guns are not set up automatically. I don't even think if they see an enemy. Now, you're probably wondering, why'd you do this? I just want to force any kind of tank or something to come down the middle towards our positions, and I'm going to get some ATs around here. So, just basically narrowing, making them a little bit of a choke point for the enemy, force them to come towards the middle where we can have multiple ATs to kill any infantry, or kind of force them to, you know, infantry can't flank around here because of all this barbed wire, so I can put my machine gun over here. And you can see he's being pushed back even more. I think he's all the way back to base here. Hasn't built anything, surprisingly. I wonder what he's saving up for. It seems like he has more of these, you know, going more with the blob formation. Okay, that's a blob. We can all agree that. That's 4 units all right next to each other like that. Oh, is he going to please toss a satchel? No, but the flamethrower is going to be devastating. It's like a condensed formation like that. Anyway, I'm going to move up. I have my lieutenant. He's going to kind of scout this area. I'm going to be having some exchanges with this guy. I do have an ambulance I'm going to bring up over here so I can reinforce and heal troops. So we're going to be in heavy cover. I was like 100% sure he's going to launch a rifle grenade. I see that guy crouching. I'm going to move my men. I dodged it. My men were just there. That would have killed all of them. He's constructing, you know, some of these are naturally part of the battlefield, like these right here. So he's constructing more just to kind of make it so they're kind of, it's basically choke pointing these guys, and that's pretty smart. If you have the time to build defenses like that, you should. And he's going to build a bunker here. It's probably going to be a reinforcement bunker. But when you're going to push back to this hill and have trouble defending it, you're in trouble. And also, the blue player on this side, on the north, has captured the whole area, basically. So, the blob formation. Now, this guy is like 55, level 55, so he's going to highlight all his units and attack. That's 5 men, 5 units. Yeah, 5 units. And these are going to try to lay some barbed wire, and that's when they see the blob. And they're going to run. And they should. But guess what? These machine guns are perfectly situated for any kind of blob. I have multiple units up here. They have every unit, one of my units has bars. These guys have the anti-tank. These guys have the rifle grenades. And we also have support. So they're kind of doing a condensed attack right here. That's okay. I'm going to pull back my MG. Now I know there's enemies on me. I just need to suppress these guys. So they're kind of getting suppressed in a blob here. And I'm my rifleman. I am kind of counter-blobbing here. And, you know, I'm not saying I never do this, but frankly, I need this amount of firepower. You know, it's good that we're able to kind of take this blob on, and we have the bars, so we can have these guys in the trench. They didn't manage to destroy that, though, because they do have a bunch of bazookas, or Panzerschrecks. And so, yeah, this is a blob. I'll admit it. I'm blobbing here. I have a lot of units very close to there, and you can see they're going to utterly devastate that unit there, just wipe them out. I didn't have my units concentrate on here, but that was just to attack their concentration. But I see these guys, I'm afraid they're going to outflank me, so I'm going to start manning my blob a little bit. I'm going to turn my machine gun and try to suppress these guys. They're throwing rifle grenades. I'm going to lose this unit here. I'm going to withdraw here and try to get out, but he's going to die. So I'm pushing in with the blob. My own kind of blob. I say you shouldn't blob, and it's really true. That wasn't my grenade, but it almost killed my unit. That was my ally's grenade. You can see that killed. Is it really? Okay, killed 2 of my guys. This is more like 2. I call it like 2 units. 3 units or more together is kind of a blob. I'm just going to push in around their cover here. I know he doesn't want to retreat his units here, but that's a Vet 2 unit. You should really get that unit out, especially when we're cutting off your retreat point. Because I'm going to focus down. I just wiped out that Vet 2 unit. And, I'm going to get around his machine gun here. This is a reinforcement bunker, so he can reinforce this guy's there. So I could have a couple Shermans on the field by now. It's about 10 minutes in. I have 300 manpower. I mean 300 fuel. 900 manpower. I'm saving up for this sweet easy 8. And this recalls this makes me want to push an enemy lines to get more kills. My men are becoming more and more veteran, and they're also going to be under attack with their forward structure here. Anyway, they managed to recapture the south. I think that guy is still playing. I don't think he's a computer player. Yeah, he's not a computer player yet. I'm starting to see his commitment to using these cars. Now we have an SU coming out. Anyway, I managed to wipe out that pack. Let's go back to the south. So he's going to be very careful with this SU down here. Because not only there's a pack 43 here. There's a pack here, pack 40, and there's Panzer Volksgrenadiers with Panzer Shreks. However, the blue player's going to come down. He's secure the north. You really don't need too many forces up north on this map. You really don't. All you really need to do is just hold it and then bring forces down. Because they've kind of quit. Look, like we own most of the territory on this map. I think it's like tabbed in. We own most of the territory. Look at that mine already placed down there. So with the more territory, you can see we're getting like 44 fuel a minute compared to their 19 and 23 for their standard Wehrmacht. And we also hold both fuel sources. They're basically starved for fuel. And they need to figure out a way to capture fuel. They managed to take this one, which is good. Yeah, so if we had 23 fuel, we had 51. And that's when this guy decided to quit. P100s are great for killing satchel charges there. So he quit. He was unhappy with his teammates. I don't think they were doing that bad, but you can look at that. Like, geez, it's a lot of guys. And they can totally overwhelm this position here. Even though I have my troops, my machine guns, I want to use more of the 50 cals because these, keep in mind, these fighting positions are great, but they're very easy to kill with, especially with mass Panzer Shreks like that. Like he's getting all those guys. I feel like Folks are a lot harder to counter than Rifleman spam or Rifleman blob because the Folks have the anti-tank with them. Now, if you get and then Colonel Gaddafi quit. So why am I showing you a match where 2 people quit, right? One, the match is basically over half over, but I really want to show you that these kind of blobs are not effective against what we're using, what our tactics were. I also want to show that kind of new mobility of my allies, This guy is using a lot of the light vehicles. He's also using the half-track. Very good. And you can see that's a rifle grenade. They're shooting out of their fighting position. And then we were ready for these kind of attacks. And then also, I was able to upgrade my rifleman with a lot of bars, and that really helped out. I managed to hop my guys out of there before they all died. You can see I even have a captain here. Now, because I'm delayed... Oh, I was also going to talk about this guy's strategy. Because I'm delayed on getting my tanks, I need to have someone to counter a possible Panzer IV that comes out. So I have a captain, and I'm going to start making some of these ATs. I'm going to position them along here. I'm expecting some kind of Panzer IV. We're 14 minutes into the game. Not from the OKW, from the Wehrmacht. And plus, I'm still fighting against, well, purple, that's a computer, right? I'm fighting against yellow, or orange. Orange is definitely, I lost those guys there. Orange is definitely the enemy. That's still a human player. I'm throwing, the white phosphorus down, trying to do anything I can to stop these guys. They're forced to fall back. But now they're starting to cut through this area. They managed to kill us. I don't know why the vehicles highlight like this sometimes in replays. It must be a glitch. So you can see the OKW players are not humans anymore. That was kind of poor sportsmanship quitting like that. The game definitely wasn't lost, but I don't like when super high level players decide to quit like that. Look at this Kubovagen getting blown up by, you know, the cap didn't take the T-34 would have. So yeah, I just want to say I was getting closer to the easy 8s here, and I want to kind of show him off. He is against. You know, this guy's definitely not a computer right here, the orange player, like I said, but the two OKWs are. They're even calling down more of this stuff. I just want to wipe out this mortar crew if I can. And that is when he gets a flak, so I gotta pull back with this unit. That's just, you can see, it doesn't kill the unit, but it gives them no health. And then they can easily get mowed down by anybody because they go down to 1 health. Looks like he's reinforcing off of that half track. Oh yeah, so, speaking of blobs, this is the closest you'll see me getting blobbed like this. I have 3 AT guns, and you can see these 2 aren't set up. I meant to make 2, but I have 3 right now. So I'm really hoping that flak half track decides to come up. Yeah, and they're actually pushing into my allies in the south. But the heavy artillery is going down. And they've stunned this crew and they've even damaged this engine. So I have infantry along here. You know, I'm going to start reinforcing and healing them. They're pretty veterans, so it's going to keep them alive. And I see Mr. Flak. And Mr. Flak's going to meet the US AT guns. Yeah, these AT guns actually aren't bad. One of the really cool things I like about the US AT guns is that they have this awesome armor-piercing shell. So you can see it's called Fire Armor-Piercing Discarding Sabot round. I just call it AP rounds. So it fires like a really good AP round, and it costs a lot of munitions, right? It's 30 per volley, but it's just like we can target or something. Target weak spot. You see how this guy has target weak spot? He's vet 1. So he doesn't need any veterancy to use that, which is awesome. So he is, keep in mind, orange is still the enemy. It's still the human player. I don't have any easy 8s yet. I'm close. I'm half a command point away, so I don't want to grab myself a Sherman or anything. I don't want to waste my fuel. Then again, I do have 500 fuel. I could probably spare it. Just want to start cranking these guys out, though. See the Panzer IV goes up. What am I going to do? I'm going to lure back his Panzer IV and set up all my ATs. I have 3 of them. And the other one's coming back up here. He's not going to like this. And I'm going to immediately turn on. One, its engine gets damaged. He's screwed. I'm going to turn on the... Look at that. That's Sabot round. Don't know if I mispronounced it or not, but... That is devastating. I'm telling you, get your tanks the hell away from these M1 57mm anti-tank guns from the US, because with that, they are just... See how quickly they just took down that tank? Now, these aren't the heaviest anti-tank guns, but damn, that round was devastating. Anyway, the blob. That's a computer doing it, though. But he still has this number of units, right? I think... No, I'm sorry. That is not a... Okay, I'm sorry. Gaddafi and this guy quit. So, actually, purple and orange are both humans. So I am going against the human computer players. That makes more sense, man. I think a human would blob up more than a computer. Keep in mind, I have the machine guns, and then we have the beautiful Easy 8 being attacked by all these units. But I have 2 machine guns and my AT. This is a very hard position to attack with the multiple AT and machine guns. Let's see, you really set up a defensive position. You know, you have the anti-infantry to hold, you know, suppress the enemies with the machine guns, and then you also have... Oh, my guy's burning to get him back. We're actually going to retreat past all the machine guns. So, you can see I have all the manpower, so I'm going to immediately grab another one of these Shermans. And these Shermans are, you know, they're heavy equipped. They're very capable of taking on heavier German armor. They're not like the Sherman where the regular M4 Sherman. They're not like the M4A3 Sherman, right? They're not the E version, the EA version, because these guys don't have the switch to HE round and deal with damaged infantry. You really want a tank like this to be able to switch over to the HE round and kill infantry. Now, when you're switching over, the tank can still move, but it can't fire. So keep that in mind. You don't want to switch at an inopportune time. Or if you encounter a tank, it's going to take you a little while longer to switch over. So I'm getting involved here. They're down to 23 points. It's on the side of surrender. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick 20-minute commentary. You can see the kills there. So I was going to be against humans the whole time. That high level guy should not have quit, but my odds are pretty good. I especially liked um, Tor Gridson's, kind of mobile use. I feel like him and Ziggy were both very mobile with the scout cars. Like Ziggy had a ton of scout cars, just flanking around these guys, and then he had a lot of lighter vehicles. He used the multiple jeeps, Torgerson, and he also used those kind of infantry. Let's actually go to his doctrine really quickly. You can see he used the half track, so he's pretty good in that. I quite enjoyed playing with these guys. These guys were good teammates, and thanks for the orange player and Hammer of Gods for playing. They stayed till the end. They fought like men. Well, roughly to the end, right? But we were able to overcome them, especially that teaming on early on. You can see that the purple player kind of went up north in the beginning, and we were able to quickly, we were able to set up positions for the fuel. I was able to block off this area. My allies had to block up this area for vehicles. And, having those extra players, like we'd come down and assist. Originally, the level 100 Prestige 3 guy was, pushing us back down here. And we were able to kind of come up from the north, from up here, and flank down south. And, kind of triple team him at some point. He was just screwed, so. Yep. Double team, triple team, if you need to do it to scare the fuel, do it. That's what happens. You got to make sure you have good teammates that are going to double those fuels in the beginning. That's my tips for the steps. Make sure you double the fuel for both players. 2 players in the midfield, 2 players in the south. That's all you need. You can get the VPs later. And you can see how lightly defended the north is. Like, you don't really need like a machine gun here, right? You don't need a whole lot to defend the north. Like, the south is where the fuel is and the VPs, so keep that in mind. Cut for my 221 signing off. Hope you enjoyed.